All right, so now we're going to talk about um, preterite imperfect some more. So the whole idea behind preterite imperfect is, did this happen once or did this happen more than one time? Was it an ongoing event or is it over with? And super important, if I'm describing something in the past, it is imperfect, okay? Very, very rarely is it preterite. Uh, so ser, by the way, is a descriptive verb, right? Ser versus a star. Well, ser will almost always be used in the imperfect in the past tense. The other thing that you want to think about when you're thinking about the past tense, am I just setting up a situation? Like if I'm telling you the setting, like what the room, what was going on when I walked into the room, that's imperfect. If I say all the chairs were set up, um, that's actually the imperfect. I'm describing what the room looked like. Okay, so keep that in mind. So el otro día, yet the other day, I went to the house of my friend Rose to play video games with her. So the other day, and that was one of the words that we took care of up here, right there. So it's preterite. I went to the house of Rose, to Rose's house. Uh, Again, think about it. How many times did I go to Rose's house? One time. Okay, to play video games with her. As a children, we would always. So I've got as children, and I've also got always. Both of those are imperfect keywords. So that should be my hint there. So jugábamos videojuegos mientras, and I think we talked about this in the PowerPoints. We did. If you have blank and then cuando blank, then it would be imperfect cuando preterite. And that preterite, which you can't see, sorry. So imperfect cuando preterite. That preterite is an interrupting action, and that's one of those acronym words, interrupting action. So I was cleaning my room when the phone rang. So me cleaning my room was ongoing, right? But the phone ringing was one thing that happened, stopped happening, and it caused me to stop doing it. It was my interrupting action. So that's when you have cuando. When you have mientras, it's going to be I was doing this, imperfect, mientras, which means while you were doing that or whatever. Okay, so I've got mientras here. So while she was walking through the park, she was listening to the new CD from Taylor Swift. Good job, Rose. Or wait, while I was walking, sorry, I was going to Rose's house. Yes, it was a good choice because it's a fun CD. Anyway, the weather. Now I'm talking about weather, and if you're looking at your little, y'all like wet roads, right? So let's go back through and write wet roads. And let's say what that stands for. Why did that not even show up? Wet roads. Oh, now it shows up. Thanks, dude. Boom. Okay. So wet roads. W for weather. E, I guess, is emotion. T is time and date. R is recurring, I guess. I don't have any idea. Y'all are the ones that like this acronym. O is for, again, I don't know what that stands for. Sorry, I'll get back to you on that. Hold on. Let's just throw a shout out to Miss Harrelson for reminding me what these acronyms stand for. Sorry about that. I didn't teach it this way. Recurring, past action. Ongoing, past action. And I added the S. I know she doesn't do that, so let's just give it one since I added it. Scenery. If I'm describing the background, that's the scenery. Okay. A is for age, and D is for description. Okay. So I would definitely write this down and remember it. I'll be referring back to it as we fill out this paragraph. Okay. So back to, I went to my friend Rose's house the other day. As children, we used to play video games. While I was walking through the park, I was listening to the awesome CD from Taylor Swift. The weather, I'm talking about weather, W, era, perfect. The sun was shining. The Did the sun shine for just a second or was it always shining? It was always shining. And it seemed like all the animals were playing in the park also. So it seemed like the animals were playing in the park. Did it seem like it just in one moment or did it just kind of seem like it was the background? I'm giving you the scenery on my walk. So that's parecía que todos los animales estaban jugando. When you have an ando or an yendo, that is an ongoing action in the past. That is the O in wet road, or wet roads, if you will. So, anyway, moving right along. All right, so it looked like all of the animals were playing in the park. It was a perfect walk. Now, even though the walk is over when I'm telling the story, I am describing the walk as perfect. So it's the description in the past, so it would be era. Cuando llegué a su casa, Rosa me blank. When I got to Rosa's house, she was waiting for me. Was she waiting for me just in that 1 second, or was she continuously waiting for me? She had been waiting for me. We started to play at 3 in the afternoon. And again, remember, there's some verbs that go really well with the imperfect or that go really well with the imperfect. Like I said, ser goes really well with the, I just said perfect. Verbs that go really well with the preterite and verbs that go really well with the imperfect. Ser is a really good imperfect verb for the past tense. Empezar, comenzar, terminar, parar. All of those verbs that are like start, finish, stop, go, are great verbs for the preterite. To be born, you're born once, right? So we started playing. That's one thing we started. It's over at 3, but we didn't. But it was 8 when we decided to stop and eat. So it was 8. I'm talking about time there. So it's going to be the imperfect. Clean that up so you can see it. It's going to be the imperfect. And then we decided, deciding, decidir, another great preterite verb. Decide. Usually you decide something and it's over with, right? Granted, I could say I was deciding when this happened, but normally I'm going to say I decided to do this. So decidimos terminar y comer. We said goodbye. How many times do we say goodbye? 1 time. And I walked back to my house. That's it. I wasn't walking back to my house because then there would be something else that's going to happen to me while I was walking back to my house. So I just walked back to my house. All right, let's move on. Okay. Okay, so now we're talking about por versus para again. Por and para, the way I like to think of this is my big circle. Y'all remember that? And basically, the destination is the outside, right? That's really like, why am I doing something? That's the para out here on the edge. And the por is either how I'm going to get there or my motivation for doing it, right? So if I say that, let's say I'm going to, I'm buying tickets for Italy, okay? So, estoy comprando boletos para Italia. All right, now how am I going to get there? Por avión. Make sense? All right, next up I have, let's say, intended recipient. So I bought a gift para Susie. And why did I buy a gift for Susie? Por su cumpleaños. For her birthday. So my motivation was it was her birthday, but I bought the gift para Susie. Sorry, this doesn't show up some of the letters. The letters don't show up. Okay, so moving along there. What if I have a deadline? I have a project that's due. Oops. Project due para el lunes. Project is due on Monday, and I'm going to work on it por 10 horas. I'm going to work on it for 10 hours because that's how good of a student I am. So that's the length of time, but my destination is really the deadline there. And then, hold on a second. Okay, so if I'm, oops, there we go. All right, get rid of that guy. Come on. Okay, this is actually the wheel we were talking about. I'll just stop drawing this silliness. We already did that one. This one was I'm going, this was actually the one where I said I'm buying Susie a gift. So voy a Target para comprar un regalo por el cumpleaños de Susie. All right, this one down here is the object or recipient. So maybe I'm going to give Ana $15. So estos $15 son para Ana por los zapatos. So that's the exchange. So I'm going to pay $15 por los zapatos. Okay? Any kind of payment or exchange of money is going to go right there. And then over here I've got deadline. That's the one the project's due on Friday or Monday, and I'm going to work on it for 10 hours. All right? The other thing that you can look at when you're doing this other ridiculously beautiful creation that I made. So por has all these different reasons to use it, and actually para is probably the easiest one to follow since there's not as many. So there's always, by the way, don't forget these little expressions at the bottom here that you can just memorize. They go really well with one verb or another, excuse me, one word or another. But back to this, I really like this one. Employment is one that you'll have an issue with. Employment goes with para. Yo trabajo para Conroe ISD. Susie trabaja para Target. All right, purpose. Again, all of these are kind of final things, right? Purpose, intended recipient, destination as in time or deadline, or destination as in I'm literally going to buy tickets for Italy. And then these are the two weird ones, comparisons and employment. But the rest of these right here, these are destinations, right? These are final things that are happening. That's my ultimate goal, right? And then when I look back at por, then those are all kind of motivating things, right? They're the reason why I want to go to Italy or why I need to do something. So let's see, cause or motive, the choice, the exchange or substitution, my passage. This is how I'm going to get there. So it may not be the why, actually, it's how I'm going to get there. I'm going to get my shirt by paying $15. I'm going to get to your house by going through the park. I'm going to get my homework done, but it's going to take me 15 minutes. This was done by someone, okay? It was written by someone, but they're the ones that did it. The ultimate destination is that the book was written, but it was written by someone. The reason, that's definitely just the cause or the motive. Those are nice and easy. And then the general location is just por aquí, okay, like around this location. This one's probably one of the trickier ones. Choice is probably a tricky one. But again, those two are probably not going to be on the final. All right, so that's por versus para. I hope that helps. And now let's do some of the por versus para. Did I not do any practice for por versus para? No, I did not. So study that. Okay, and we're almost out of time, but don't forget those por and para expressions. And then I'll jam through this vocabulary, and then the last video we'll go through this. Okay. So obviously this is the art vocabulary. You just took a test on this. That should be fresh in your head. You'll get your test back on Monday and Tuesday. You can get them sooner if you want to see how you did. The artists, I know they're not on the final because I didn't put a PowerPoint slide together for it. And then the last stuff is there versus star and the participles. So I'm going to stop this video and I'll see you in the next one.